Wizard101 is preparing to release its new update, Darkmoor. There will be many spells and many changes. 7 content creators are chosen to show you sneak peeks at the shadow-related spells that are coming in this new update. For those who do not know me, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Anton. I've made many paintings and ideas and memes for Wizard101 throughout the years, and here are some of them. Thank you so much to Emma, the community manager, and Cam, the developer, who chose me to present to you the Death Shadow spells. Everything is subject to change, and in the description I'll write links to all the content creators. The first new spell that we have is called Dark Shepherd. It does 75 shadow damage, then 3 20% weaknesses immediately, and then it has a backlash, which happens after 3 turns. So basically, you need to have heal over times on the enemy. You need to have 3 heal over times. Each turn, this spell will check if the enemy has a heal over time. If it does, it will consume it. And if it doesn't, it will add plus 5% backlash, which means that when 3 turns pass, you will get a maximum amount of 15% or 0% if the enemy had 3 hero times. 5% or 15% it's taking out of your max health. So it's taking a percentage out of your max health, just like the previous shadow spells. So that's why I don't clarify it. Also, I know that it's not written that it's 3 turns, but that's how all backlash is functioning. This is also used as a fusion to combine with Call of Cthulhu to create the Shadow Enhanced Call of Cthulhu. So now there will be a separate non-shadow version of all the previous Shadow Enhanced spells. And here I wrote, the good thing about this is that because we don't need a Shadow Pip anymore, we'll be able to use Cthulhu a bit more often, at least just to look at the animation. Although, we don't know, there are some stronger options. It's still an interesting change. The difficult part is that if you want to use the Shadow Enhanced version, we need 2 cards in our hand to fuse. And on top of that, it also has a backlash after 3 rounds, which will take a part of your health if it's not satisfied. So here I'm just illustrating how there is a no Shadow Pip version, which is 315 drain damage on the no PvP version, 320 selected target, and it clears 2 heal times to add minus 30% chromatic weaknesses on the enemy. And after it's Shadow Enhanced, for the no PvP version, it will do a lot of drain, and then each turn it will check if there is a heal over time. Selected target. I have a picture that explains how that functions. If you are unfamiliar with it, I'll show it. Anyway, it does 605 drain damage and then minus 40% chromatic weaknesses times 2 immediately. And then the price is that in 3 turns you have to either, like, your opponent needs to have heal over times, or you will take a percentage from your max health as backlash. The target mechanic, the whole hit will lose 25% of damage each, like for each enemy that is more than 1. So this is just some explanation. It's what I wanted to clarify with this picture was that it's stronger than Divide. That's all I wanted to say. And also that it's only for advanced combat and PvP and not for PvE. PvE is the regular AoE. The second spell that is new is Shadow Shepherd. It's a shadow transformation, and it works like an aura, but it is not a regular aura. It cannot be replaced by other auras. It gives you plus 55% outgoing damage for death drains, a death pip, and each turn it will check if the enemy has a negative charm. If it does, it will consume the negative charm, and if it doesn't, it will add 5% backlash, and in the end, when 3 turns pass, it will calculate if you like had 2 negative charms, it will be like 5% backlash. If you had 3, it's gonna be 0. If you had none, it's gonna be 15. Like, yeah. And personally, I'm just happy that we have a more useful version of this spell because I love the animation and I think it's a beautiful card. This will probably be really useful in PvP more than PvE, because in PvE you're gonna want to do your damage very fast, so you won't wait for a shadow pip just to have a damage aura. But for PvP this could be potentially extremely powerful, and we need to test it. I would love to hear your opinions. I'm sure Liam is a vibe will have a more knowledgeable take on this card, but I'm glad to see that this card itself is going to be more used, it seems. Thank you to DaRealAlmond for helping with this graphic. He did the balance version, I did a dev version where I just replaced the photos and I wrote on top that backlash means shadow backed. So this graphic explains very well the whole system if you were still confused. You can read it, or I can read it. It's the same, like, pack system is 3 rounds, it's always 3 rounds. Pay 1 specific hanging effect at the start of each turn, consumes the hanging effect. If you do not have the requirement for the pact, you lose 5% of your max HP instead. The max amount of health you can lose is 15% max HP. You will lose this HP at the end of the 3 turns if the combat is completed or if you decide to replace the pact. HP lost is not at the end of each round, the payment is at the end of the 3 turns. And I personally think that backlash is a more accurate name to describe what that symbol is on top than pact. I feel like pact sounds confusing. I call it backlash, but the official name is pact. The regular version of Schisma, 260 selected target damage and 2 times Gambit positive charm for minus 70% tower shields. Shadow enhanced version of Schisma. It does 550 dev damage selected target, then minus 70% 3 tower shields immediately, and the pact is you need blades on self to pay each turn 3 turns. So I was reading the lower one, but for the PvE version, it's just 175% tower shield and a lot more damage. In this picture, we see the 3 different schismas, the old one and the 2 shadow and non-shadow one. So what they're doing is that you will be able to make a really strong shadow enhanced spell, but it's going to require a lot. And there's also going to be a very cheap, only deaf school version of the same spell. And the shadow enhanced version, it does minus 70% tower shields times 3 immediately, and then each turn is gonna check if you have a blade on yourself. It will consume a blade if you do, and if you don't, it's gonna increase your backlash. When there is a gambit, you sacrifice or pay the thing that it's written, like in this case it's shields, immediately, while the shadow pact is a slower thing, is what I'm saying. And also, if you have 1 shield, you get 1 blade. If you have 2 shields, you get 2 blades. If you have 3 shields, you get 3 blades, if it's times 3. And I was also saying that the spellment grind might be getting worse. There will be way more spellments for each fusion and regular version. If they can't be gained easily, that will be a lot of farming. Farming is already a big barrier to entry for PvP. I hope that we can acquire these spellments in a reasonable way, that we can do an activity in the game that we like, such as Portal of Peril, Housing, Beast Bone, whatever someone likes. That's just what I think. It would be nice if we had a bit more options. Here are the rest of the spells. Snack Attack, Push, Negative Charm, then 475 dev damage. That's the PvE version. Then selected target 495 times 3 Gambit shields. So you're gambiting your own shields to get blades. Shadow enhanced snack attack. It's push, negative charm, enemy, then 890 damage, and the backlash will be reduced for each shield that you have, and it's gonna take it each turn. And 600, then the advanced combat version is 685 plus 50% blades 3, you get them immediately, and then you will like need to have shields or you'll take backlash. The regular Winged Sorrow, all of it is allowed in PvP and PvE. 405 dev damage and then minus 20% weakness to all enemies. Then the lower path is 405 dev damage and then 5 times clear positive charm on the enemy for a minus 25 weakness. The Shadow Enhanced Winged Sorrow, PvE version only, 1075 dev damage, minus 20% weaknesses, and then it wants the enemy to have blades, like the backlash. And then the lower half or advanced version only, 835 dev damage, then minus 45 weaknesses times 2, and the backlash requirement is blades on the enemy. So you need 3 blades of the enemy to have them, or else you're gonna take backlash for each blade that is not there. Grim Reader, regular version, 405 damage, dev damage, and then minus 25 weaknesses times 2. Lower path, that's the one that's more different. 440 dev damage, and then Gambit 3 shields, so like your own shields, you're sacrificing them, for minus 45 chromatic weaknesses, which means based on the enemy's score. Then the Shadow Enhanced Grim Reader does, for the PvE only version, 1160 damage, minus 25 weaknesses times 2. Then the pact is that it wants shields on yourself. And then the lower path is 860 dev damage, minus 45% chromatic weaknesses times 3. You get them immediately, and then each turn it will want to consume a shield or it will increase your backlash. And here is the regular version of Krulu that I already showed, but here's the image, and it's after it's changed, upgraded, it becomes 320 death drain, selected target, and 2 times clear kill over time for a chromatic weakness minus 30%. And also we have the Shadow Enhanced version, which is 690 drain and then it wants kill over times on the enemy, or 605 drain and it does minus 40% chromatic weaknesses times 2, and the pact is that it wants kill over times. Yeah, I already final thoughts about these two. For the Shadow Shepherd, I wanted to say, yeah, it's like an aura that can't be removed. For the backlash thing, I want to say that it would be nice if the number 3 was written somewhere, but since we know that backlash is always 3 for everything, maybe there's no need. And in PvP, these spells will probably be worth doing if the conditions are met. In PvE, probably you have better options to do fast damage early. However, in a very tough combat, maybe the drain buff could be useful because it's a really strong buff, and you can use the shadow creature to remove a weakness or shield, or if the enemy has cots. But if you aren't meeting the conditions, the backlash might make the spell not worth using. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I have made some kind of mistake. I apologize if I was a bit slow. I've been dealing with some extreme stress these days because I have this painting exhibition that I've been working towards for this year and in my country, and it's going not very well because there's many reasons, but one reason is that every day since the beginning it's been raining non-stop, like all the time, and it's extremely cold, so this reduces the people that come, and it just doesn't stop raining all the time. And also there's other reasons, like the gallery owners don't allow me to put the prices and the names under the paintings, which causes some problems, and it's very stressful because I've been really putting my heart and soul into these last paintings, and I was really hoping that this exhibition could be successful. It's until this Saturday. Saturday is the last day, so there's still some hope, but it's just things are not going very well. So I'm sorry if I'm a bit distracted or slow or something like that, because yeah, I'm not very well, and yeah, thank you again so much. Okay, now I'm gonna show you some quick experimental ideas I had that are not related to the update. I just wanted to show you this spell that I thought of for Beast Moon, which is called Karma, and it makes it so the last damage that you took before you were defeated gets reflected back to the caster. I just think it's interesting, and it would be cool if maybe something like that existed. It was just an experiment. The spell causes the hand cards to appear blank, new ones are drawn, You once drawn or indistinct, the target could use the wrong spell. Try to remember. Yes. So it's just a card that makes it so the target's hand cards appear blank, so they don't know what they're gonna choose. It could also reshuffle the order. This is an idea. It had a Shadow Beast form, but it was very old and very experimental. It's not written correctly. It's just an idea. And also this is a spell that summons a ghost after someone is defeated, like yourself, for example. But it's not balanced. So feel free to ignore this if you don't care. Okay. Thank you for watching. This is the end. I appreciate you.